Oh, I'm doing great.
Well, good to have you here.
Yeah, it's good to be here, and it's good to be involved with this, to remember these great piano players. And man, BC and Tom McDermott, boy, they were great, huh?
Absolutely. We're blessed.
All right, we ready?
We're definitely ready.
Okay, I'm going to do a little Professor Longhair.
Joe Krown live here in our WWOZ
right.
studios, and you're listening to WWOZ 90.7 FM on your radio dial. This is the New Orleans Music Show with your host, Michael Dominici. Joe, such a delight to have you here playing this amazing music. You know, when I hear a song like Tipitina's Professor Longhair, there's so many thoughts that run through my head, but I just feel like a lot of his music is at the intersection of so much was happening in New Orleans in America at that time, going from blues to rock and kind of rediscovering different things. But one of the things that hits me with Longhair's music so much is just the roots that he taps into. And when you play his music, I feel like you're trying to get every little nook and cranny of that music out.
Well, I try. He was a very big influence in my life, and in my musical life, I should say. And you're right that there was basically before Longhair and then after Longhair. And he sat in the center of the fork in the road that became the sound of New Orleans music, that influenced everybody from Fats Domino to Dr. John to Alan Toussaint and all the other piano players that came after him. And it's interesting that we're doing this kind of show because the birthdays, this day, the 18th is, the 17th is Booker's birthday, the 19th is Longhair's birthday. So we're doing this like combined tribute, and these two piano players were probably the most influential piano players that really kind of changed things for music in general. And I mean, especially Longhair, everything that came after him was influenced by him. All the New Orleans music from, the Nevilles and Toussaint and everybody else was all influenced by Professor Longhair. And then Booker came along, and that was until Booker came along. And he kind of like, I always tell people, he took the guardrails off it all. And he didn't play like Longhair, but he still had that feel and something that made it so that it just broadened the whole sound of New Orleans piano. And it's nice that we do a tribute to both of them in the same day.
I appreciate that insight. Joe, what you got next for us?
Okay, I'm going to do a little Booker tune. This is one that he did a solo live performance on one of the Rounder records. It's called Keep on Guine. Here we go.
Joe Krown, performing live here
Thank you.
at WWOZ at the GMO and Prima Foundation Performance Studios. You know, Joe, you play in his music of Professor Longhair and James Booker, and when I hear all these different sounds and textures, it's so incredibly New Orleans. I feel like I'm hearing the musical architecture of the city rolling by when I'm hearing that particular tune, Keep on Guine.
Thank you.
What are your thoughts and feelings when you're playing this kind of music?
Well, I'm a rooted kind of player, and what I mean by that is I play like I studied all this stuff, and I studied where it all came from, and you know, I grew up playing a lot of ragtime and boogie woogie piano, and then I heard the New Orleans sound, and it just was really kind of like a combination of all of it. And like that particular last song, it has kind of a stride, kind of a ragtime kind of a feel, but it's Bookerized. You know, that's what he did. He took everything and just took all the rules away from it. But this is it just rings to me. It's just what I feel, and it's, you know, it comes naturally to me to play this stuff, and it's what I consider the sound of the city. You know.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
So what's next for us?
Okay, I'm going to do another Booker tune. This was off of his last recording, Classified, which was, I'm going to play the title cut off it. I do my own arrangement on it, but that was a very controversial record for Booker because they had a lot of difficulty getting him to actually sit down and focus through the sessions. In fact, in the middle of one of the days they were recording, in the middle of a song, he just jumped up and said, "Look, I got to go run to the bank," and that's the last they saw of him that day. So it's one of those things where he was at his greatest and at his worst moments, and that was a historic record for him. And Classified was a song that he kind of did as a response to Dr. John Mac Rebennack's song Qualified. Qualified came out in the early 70s, and Classified came out in the 80s. And this is just, I think, it's so similar in the way it feels and everything else like that, that it's definitely that Booker was I think he might have been playing it and just came up with this out of that, but I'll never know. But I love playing it. This is a tune called Classified.
Great Joe Krown. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael.
For joining us today. Joe, do you have any gigs coming up that we'd like to illuminate our audience?
Well, let's see. There's Sunday at the Maple Leaf with my band, and then that's pretty much it until after Christmas.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for participating.